Hello everybody. So I have found an interesting book that I have read. It's not very thick, it's a little book. It was found in the West, but it's in Russian. I found it very useful because it talks about how to receive results quickly, what needs to be done. And I will tell you how I used it. I read it maybe 2 years ago, and I just thought that I should probably make a video and share this information with you. It's very useful. So after I have read the book, I've been wanting, in a certain part of my life to buy a new car. And the money that I was making, I knew was going to be possible after a certain amount of time went by. But I wanted it sooner. And so after reading this book, I tried what was said. I tried to do what was said in it, and it worked. So I'll tell you what that is. Everybody has certain attachments that they're attached to in this world. Little weaknesses, you could say. And if you find in yourself those little weaknesses that you're attached to, and you disattach yourself from it, that gives you more strength, more power to get that what you need to get. In my case, it was a car. So my weakness at that time was drinking alcohol. And so I read the book and I decided to try it. So I stopped drinking alcohol. So I completely disattached myself from that attachment that I had to alcohol. I stopped drinking. And well, believe it or not, in 1 month I was able to buy a car. So disattaching myself from just that one thing that I found in myself gave me enough strength to get what I wanted much quicker. And that's exactly what it says in the book. It's like kind of tricks to life that I decided to use, and it worked. Okay, so the second block of the book, it talks about limitations. Limitations as in, okay, so look at it like this. In the morning, say you have to be at work at 9 in the morning. And some people, they get up at 8:30 and they make it to work at 9, just on time. So if you use limitation, this is just an instance, the best I can explain. You can think of a million other ways to limit yourself to reach, to use this book to reach results. So that's what I do. I wake up much earlier, a couple of hours earlier, and do physical exercises, boxing, stretching, and things of that nature. So my limitation is of 2 hours of sleep. So I can wake up earlier and do some physical exercises. And of course you can think of many things that would allow you to use this technology, to use the limitation. And we'll move on to the third block. That way. Okay, so in the third block of the book, it talks about certain spring. I'm translating from Russian, so if you can imagine a certain spring that you kind of compress, you use a certain amount of days and withholding yourself from certain things to compress the spring, to let it say, okay, so this is how I do it. Once a year, I take the period of 40 days. It says in the book that, now remember, this is the third block, so they're separate systems. So 40 days, that's the maximum for this block of some kind of withholding. You could do it for 7 days, you could do it for 10, 20 days, or the maximum is 40, depending on how much power you need and what you need to get done. So to charge this spring for the whole year, I use the 40 days, the maximum amount, the 40 days, and say like you like to eat sweets, you like cookies, chocolates and things like that, and it's something that you really love. So what you have to do is 40 days, don't eat that. Don't give yourself the pleasure of eating those chocolates, those sweets. That's just an instance, It could be many other things. See, there's the physical level, there's the psyche level, and the spiritual level. So you can do this for all the different levels. So right now we're just talking about the physical. So on the physical.
Сейчас она перезвонит, наверное, сейчас я еду.
So right now I'm only talking about the physical part of it, which also gives you a great amount of power if you use this system. So try this, try withholding yourself, and as you can see, this happens in many different religions. They actually use this system, and I will talk about that in the other blocks. But go ahead and try it, and you can see if it works or not for you. And if it does work, you can always leave me a comment, tell me about your experience when you use this system. The system was called Hadum. That's the name for it, for the book, Hadum. Okay, going on. So I want to explain to you a little bit exactly the mechanism and how it works. So what is really happening is, if you can imagine, the strength is your soul. I don't know how to explain it in English, it's kind of difficult, but we have a different word for it in Russian. But all I can think of is soul. And see, your soul is kind of, if you can imagine mason jars, and all those attachments, all those things that, you don't have the discipline, you have these little attachments, little weaknesses, all those things, they kind of stick your soul into mason jars and tighten them up, and you become weaker. So that's the mechanism. It's pretty much of unscrewing the mason jars and letting your soul expand, letting yourself become stronger. So I wanted for you to understand that that's the mechanism, because I didn't describe that in the beginning. So this is what the book is actually talking about. That's how it works. Okay, so the first. Let me just go over the blocks again, up to the third one. The first block is when you completely disattach yourself from one of things that you're attached to. And that gives you a certain amount of strength. Second block is discipline. You discipline yourself. You start training yourself to, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You train yourself. You discipline. And so it's a certain field around you that allows you to discipline, to stay disciplined. If you look at the army, they created a certain system that keeps the people disciplined. So that is the second block. Third block, that's like the power button. You know? So in the third block, you don't do something. So you either there's some people that like to, you know, they can't sit still. They have to be constantly moving around. So that's something to consider. You can consider, you know, not moving around so much for 7 days and sitting down and thinking about something, or writing a book, or not moving around for so much. So doing something that you don't really want to do, and that's the power button that gives you that power. Like I was saying before, some people like to eat sweets. You don't eat sweets. Some people like to, you know, have sex every day. You can maybe stop having sex for 10 days, 20 days. And that gives you a lot of strength, a lot of power to fulfill whatever you want to, you know, to reach the goal that you want to reach. Yeah. So the fourth block talks about how a person is gonna try to use supposed limitation, like kind of trying to trick the world into giving him something that he doesn't deserve. This you see very often. Say, you know, somebody comes to work and they have an unhappy face, you know, and they're trying to make it look like they're, you know, limiting themselves from something, and they're very unhappy. And the reason they're unhappy is because they're trying to trick the world, but it's not going to work because it's supposed limitation. They're not really limiting themselves. They're just acting like they're sad, like they're unhappy. So that's something that you have to, that talks, you know, the fourth block of the book talks about that. And that's something you have to kind of keep in control. You know, keep in control, and don't let that supposed limitation get to you, because it's gonna happen. You know, you're gonna say a woman is inside of a, you know, she's always inside the house, and she calls you and says, I can't do anything because I'm constantly sitting at home. You know, and she's pretty much saying she has gave up the whole world. She's sitting at home and she's not receiving any money. You know what I mean? So that is supposed limitation. She is trying to trick the world by showing another person, maybe her husband or her friend, that she has given up everything, but she's just for some reason not getting anything back. And from there she becomes sad and unhappy. The reason is because she doesn't know the book of Hadum. She doesn't know this system. And that's the reason why she's not getting what she wants. Okay. The fifth block. The fifth block talks about kind of grinding your surroundings. You have to constantly grind your surroundings to change your surroundings to what you want it to be. You know what I mean? So instead of having, say, a certain type of people around, you maybe train the people, you teach the people certain things so they can change, and if they change, then your surroundings change. You know, that's what it talks about, is grinding what is around you, changing your life, not grinding yourself by any means. in the 6th block, it talks about a weird thing. It says if you're constantly thinking about something, so there's some people constantly they have a lot of thoughts going through their mind, and it says that grinds your body down. That actually grinds down your physical body when you're always thinking about something, to do something, not to do something, how to do something. This grinds your body down, and it reduces the amount of life that your body has left in it. Your body becomes older faster. You get wrinkles, and you become older much faster if you're always thinking. So it says instead of thinking and grinding your body down, you have to grind the outside world, not your body, but what's around you. Maybe work on your business, work on getting a better house, a better car, work on the people that are around you, explain to them so the world around you changes. But don't grind your body. Don't always be thinking. You have to do something. You have to use a certain mechanism. If you don't have any mechanisms, you can watch my previous videos. You can write to me. I can give you some simple mechanisms that you can use to reach results, so you don't have to be always thinking. Because when a person is thinking, he's trying to find a mechanism to use to reach a certain goal. And that's all thinking is. So if you don't have certain tools, you're going to be constantly thinking and grinding your body down. Instead of that, you grab a certain wrench and you turn what needs to be turned. That's it. You don't have to think. Moving on. So now, dear viewers, I'm gonna ask you to do some homework, and this is where the discipline starts. So one of the blocks turns on. I'm gonna ask you to do something that you probably don't want to do. So what I just talked about, all those 6 blocks, if you go ahead and analyze the religion and the churches. The reason why is because they are the richest on this planet. They have the most money. The churches and the different religions. Say the Russian Orthodox Church or the Catholic Church. If you analyze the church, how they are able to have so much money, they're using this system. They're using the book step by step. If you don't believe me, so go ahead and do the homework and analyze it and see if those steps are applied in all of the religions, all of the churches that are the richest in the world. That's going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. I wish you guys luck. I wish you guys a lot of strength. And if you use this, I guarantee you it will work, because I have 2 legs, 2 arms, just regular human like you are. And if it worked for me, it's going to work for you. Good luck.